7:11 here on BT. We're going to send things over to Dina and Devo. Good morning, guys.
So much, Tam. Filling in for Mel, who's enjoying her birthday weekend off. Sid Sixer, Steph Henry. We've got something to chat about right now. There's going to be some polarizing views on this for sure, Sid.
Yeah, for sure, Dina. Good morning to everyone. Again, I'll be back in tomorrow. Appreciate everyone's patience. One of the stories Tam just talked about, there are a lot of important stories. But the one involving Steven Lecce, our education minister, has got a lot of people talking. He took part in a so-called slave auction while at the University of Western. And in the middle of, and listen, any day this is a story, but we're in the middle of a campaign. It's amplified. The NDP has called for Lecce to withdraw as a candidate. You heard the clip a few moments ago. Liberal leader Stephen Del Duke has stopped short of calling for his resignation, but said if other groups in this province don't deem the apology sufficient, then he should resign. Lecce did apologize after left-leaning media website Press Progress reported he participated in a frat house, quote, slave auction, end quote, while he was at Western. Lecce was listed as one of the slaves auctioned off at the frat event in 2006. The website says, quote, slaves obligated to be available from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. as part of the deal or other times negotiated with their owner, end quote. Steven Lecce put out an apology on this. He has not faced cameras since the story became public Monday night. Doug Ford has not commented on anything for a few days. He hasn't had any media availability for a few days. He's expected to meet the cameras for the first time since the story broke in Kitchener this morning. That's a little after 9:30 a.m. There is a lot here. Devo, you're first up. What's your initial thoughts?
Look, I went to try and walk into a party at a frat house in London at Western, and I was denied based on how I looked. That was it. So, look, frats, when you talk about frats in general, for me, my personal experience, I think I just have negative thoughts about it already. There was a lot of dumb stuff that happened. When you start digging into people's past, those years, you're going to find a lot of things. He's not the only one, for sure. It's not cool in any way. I need more information, though. Was he just following along with the rest of his brothers, or was he leading and heading this up? Because there's two very different things if that's the case. Because how many times have we all been in, and I'm not defending him in any way when I say this part of it, but how many times have we been in a situation, anybody, and they're like, yeah, come along. Someone just tells you, come along. And it turns out to be something that you were not expecting. Was that the case for him, or was he part of this committee that said, hey, this is what we're going to do, and this is what we're all going to be okay with? If that's the case, not cool, man, in any way, shape, or form. And then there's allegations coming out about him hazing people and things like that at that same fraternity. That is a whole other story. But again, it doesn't look good on him at all. And it's going down a road that he may need to step away from everything.
Stephanie Henry.
Well, first of all, when you talk about fraternities, I feel like fraternities in general should be extinct because of their track record. Shouldn't even exist. But when I think about when I was listening to you, Sid, tell us everything about this story, like I actually physically feel sick. And when it's just sickening to me to always see our political leaders in this kind of situation, and it's always at the expense of Black people. And like it seems like Black people are a joke or slavery is a joke, and neither are true. And I understand what you're saying, Dee, with you follow along and stuff like that, but language matters, and calling a slave auction, like I understand that
agreed.
they're charity and whatever, but you made an intentional decision to be a part of something that was called a slave auction. Like that to me, like is like, I don't know. When I was growing up, I played with Barbies and Bratz. Like I didn't pretend to be in a slave auction. You know what I mean? So to me, I don't know. I just feel like there's no excuse.
It's extremely triggering, and that's systemic racism. Is to your point, fraternities, even sororities, right? What is the purpose of these things, these groups, to do things that no one's supposed to talk about? This secrecy. There's so much wrong with it in terms of what's being done, how it's being done, what's it's supposed to prove or mean. So yes, I want to hear more in terms of context, but he's not surprised because, listen, this is since 2006. I can't believe it hasn't come out sooner. And to your point, Steph, he is not the first political leader, and as you said too, Sid, to do this. Like, I know you have some examples yourself, Sid, before we run out of time.
Well, I mean, quickly, the silence was deafening from Premier Ford yesterday. Okay, I don't care what your schedule says. I don't care where you are. I don't care how hard you've been working. And he's been out there. I'll give him credit. He's been out there. You have to speak on this yesterday. The fact that he didn't, I thought was weak. As an education minister, when you are dealing with a very diverse province in certain areas, and racialized parts of this province who have seen a lot, and you're going to claim that you're there for them, and you're going to claim that you want to make things better. I can't see this story and buy that. I'm sorry. Doug Ford needs to have this guy resign today. Today. On his record as an education minister, he's a disaster. This should have happened a year plus ago, okay? But this needs to happen today. With that said, to Dina's point, we live in a strange country sometimes, okay? Our prime minister multiple times, was caught on camera doing flat out racist things. I'm gonna say that again. He was caught on camera multiple times as a liberal candidate doing racist things, and somehow is still our prime minister. I sometimes can't read the room on this. Politics in this country is very interesting. So I don't know what the fallout here is. I think Lecce needs to resign. I think Ford, if he tries to defend this in any way, is asking for a lot of trouble. And we're going to find out today around 9:30 in Kitchener what his play is on this, because I think there's only one. But as I mentioned, politics in this province, in this country, is unique. And sometimes it's really, really tough to read.
I don't know if it caught him by surprise, if he wasn't given a heads up on this, or why he's choosing to wait, but you'd think we're going to hear something today. Right?
Oh, they didn't know how to
to.
react. Dee, you're bang on. They had no idea.
Yeah.
Devo, final thought. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, they have to. They have to react today, and that's the thing. The behavior is inexcusable, and you need to talk more about it than just one little statement that comes from Lecce. That's it. So, and again,
Agreed.
as you mentioned, man, you got a diverse province here, and you want people to trust you and feel confident in you. But again, politics is tricky in this country. Some people are forgiven and others aren't.
It's true.
And how are people deciding who's going to get forgiven for their past and who isn't? Right?
And who's sorry, and how do you prove it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
Yeah, to be continued. We're gonna have the premier on camera today. Tomorrow, we got to run that back, and I think we need to continue this because this story is not going anywhere.